It's there. It's there. And we're here. It's NFL Talk UK. Welcome along. It's me, Tom Julian. It's you, Jeff Reinbold. And it's this guy.
I'm back.
Ben McClymont. We haven't seen you for a couple of weeks, Ben.
I've been working hard.
Benny.
Had a couple of night shifts, that
Benny.
kind of stuff.
What's up with those Bears, man?
Bears suck, but we're playing the Browns, so everyone get watching soon. That's going to be a corker. No, Bears aren't going so well, but we'll talk about potential powerhouses later, and the Bears might come up. No, they won't come up.
They definitely won't come up.
Potential, like, how far out are we?
15, 20 years.
Thank you for joining us. We appreciate having you here. Every week we get together, we sit around this table and we talk ball. And the main reason that we do that is because of you guys at home. We want your questions for Jeff, whether they're coaching questions, whether they're playoff place related questions, whether they're what's Jeff's favourite sandwich. We can incorporate all of that, right? Just for the guys at home, what is your favourite sandwich?
Chicken.
Just chicken?
Any kind of chicken.
Mayo?
Yeah, I'm a mayo guy.
Yeah, chicken mayo.
Not fried though. I like it broiled better.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, there you go. See, we're already answering the hard questions. So make sure you get them in as we carry on, and we'll make sure we get to them. We've also got two of our finest NFL Christmas jumpers, and I'm going to make sure that they're in the post. As long as we're going to do the draw tonight, and whoever wins, as long as I get the address tonight, then they'll be in the post, and they should make it before Christmas. I will say, and I said this in the original video, they are massive. They're big jumpers. I think they're XL.
XXL.
We
XXL.
stole them from McAdoo's locker.
Yeah. Ben McAdoo has actually worn one of these. So yeah, maybe that everyone now taking away their retweets. They don't want that anymore. So we're going to get to that a little bit later on. But Jeff, what I wanted to talk about first off was Saturday night. Now, you and I, we went up to Manchester for NFL Girl UK. She arranged a great fan meetup, a great fan event. We watched a couple of games, we had a couple of beers, we met Ian Wright, and we had a great time.
It was an awesome time in the North. And I mean, you know, riding on the train with Ian Wright and having a chance to interview him and talk to him, you know, which was a stroke of luck, really. And then to be up there with all of those great fans. I mean, I'm going to tell you something. The North loves its football. And, you know, I know there's kind of a belief that, you know, everything that's going on is so London-centric. And maybe, I guess it is to a certain degree, but that's business. But to go up there and experience those fans and how knowledgeable Tom. I mean, Tom and I are sitting there, Ben, and we're interviewing everybody. She had a room big enough for 52. It was an overflow crowd. She sold out, and to hear how much they understand and how, like, we're talking to this Lions fan. You remember we're talking to the Lions guy, and he goes, "Well, let me ask you about Bob Quinn." And I'm thinking to myself, like, he's informed if he knows the name of the general manager who's been there for 3 years. And then we go into that whole Bob Quinn thing, and I'm thinking to myself, you know what? If I took these interviews and played them back in the United States, people would go, "Are you kidding me?"
It was crazy. So we had this Lions fan. We had a couple of Bears fans, Ben, who knew more about the draft already.
Well, they've been spending more time on the draft than anybody.
Well, yeah, that's true. They have to learn.
They have
about
to have
the
something to look for. They're not going to be in playoffs.
They got to get there quickly. But it was just amazing. And we, as Jeff says, we walked around and we had some great chats with some great people. People, men, women, young, old, Patriots fans, good fans, and we spoke to everybody. And there was just one kind of commonality there. Everyone loves NFL as much as anyone in America loves NFL. The only difference was the accent.
Yeah, I mean, I can speak to this because I've been a fan of the game for years and years and years, and been a fan of the game living in Europe, been a fan of the game living in Canada, been a fan of the game living in the United States, been a fan of the game living in Hawaii. And I don't care any of those places you go, you weren't going to find. And I shared this with Alistair Kirkwood the other day, Tuesday, when I was in the NFL office. I said, Alistair, I was amazed. I mean, these people get it. They understand the game. They understand the nuances of the business of the game. And I think that really, what I took from it, Tom, was that we've got to ramp it up, and it's got to, good enough, as Frank Gans used to say all the time in team meetings, good enough ain't good enough.
Yeah, well, we're always growing. I think that's the key. We're always looking for new areas, new opportunities, new places to go. And if NFL Live hasn't been to your city yet, we obviously haven't quite got to many cities yet, but we're looking for places to go. So let us know where you want to go. Let NFL UK and Sky Sports and all that know where you want to go, because that's the only way this thing goes.
Yeah, and I think this is really important people understand, because there's a perception from a couple of people I talked to in the business of this business. So how much did you make to go out there? We're not interested in making money. We're not going to ask to be paid. What we're saying is we want to help grow the game, and it doesn't matter. We're going to go on the tour. We're going to go on an NFL Live tour again in January, but you can't get everywhere in 5 days. So we're going to go to Glasgow, we're going to go to Manchester, and we're going to go to Cardiff. Cardiff's already sold out.
I think Glasgow might be as well.
Yeah, so when you look at that, then there's so many other pockets of NFL fans.
Yeah.
And so for us, it's a joy to get out and do that.
Yeah, and we're going to keep doing that, and hopefully a couple of times in the playoffs. That's the plan. A couple of people joined us already. Lord Hayden Burks. Evening, gents. Evening to you, Lord.
Is that he's titled?
Yeah. I mean, he could title himself.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I
But
thought
he might
don't
be.
you have to do that with a sword?
You can be a sir or a lord, yeah, but you can also just do it.
You can just.
You can be Lord. We could start calling you Lord.
Cut it out.
We want
Yeah. Is that what you want to be?
It kind of devalues the royalty, doesn't it?
Oh, I mean,
It's not official, yeah.
but it's a Facebook official, so
Yeah.
that'll do for us. Anyway, Lord Hayden Burks, thank you for joining us. We
Make me the
appreciate
king
it.
of Lower Sussex.
Yeah, that's what you're after.
New Twitter handle coming soon.
Harry, thanks for joining us. Looking forward to seeing you in Cardiff, Jeff. Harry's going to be there, and he wants games in each of those cities as well. London, Cardiff, Edinburgh, Glasgow, and Dublin.
That's the thing you've got to say, Cardiff, the stadium there is impressive.
But-
Unbelievable. I went and saw that thing last year when we were down there.
Great.
I'm going to tell you something. It was shocking. It was really shocking. And, a couple of the Cleveland Browns guys were with us, and they went out there, and he, it's the reaction of American NFL players when they see some of the stadium around here, and the stadia around here, and they just go, wow.
Yeah, I mean, we've got it all. We've got all the stadium all across the country for football, our football over here. So we could host NFL anywhere.
It's funny. Johnny Harbaugh and I were standing in the tunnel before the game, and I've known John since I was working in NFL Europe and used to run the kicker and punter workouts. So he, as a special teams coach, he would always be there for those, and I got to know him a little bit. And we were talking. He goes, "I cannot believe this. I can't." He said, we were standing there, and you could see all of Wembley in front of us, right? And he was just like, and his team played like they were.
I was going to say, I was about to say that, but yeah.
But I think that was an indication of just how impactful it is. When those guys, those American kids who, think, oh yeah, we played at Tennessee and there were 95,000, and then they walk into Wembley and it's packed.
Yeah,
it's loud.
It's loud. That's great. Lord Hayden Burks, we've got some clarity here. He owns a square foot in Nottingham. He paid 25 quid for it off the internet. So there you go. Good for him, Lord Hayden.
You like this stuff?
Yeah, and he walks around his own manner. All right, we've already talked for like 5 minutes and we haven't even mentioned the NFL yet, but that's how much there is to get to. We've still got jumpers as well, so we're going to do that at the end. Stay with us. Vicky Cowley, thanks for joining us. She says bring the games to Manchester as well. Why don't we just set up a European developmental league? What a good idea that would be.
There you go. I mean, how many times have we been banging on this drum forever?
It would sell out. Like, it's a different prospect now to what it was before my time, honestly. And the fans are more knowledgeable. They won't settle for anything less than elite. And you'd see some amazing players and some amazing players.
Yeah, you know what's interesting? My old buddy and my boss actually in the NFL International Player Development Program, Tony Allen. I mean, like Tony's most favorite thing to say was, "Well, it's all a question of timing." And it's so crazy to me to think that we were really so far ahead of our time with what we were doing in the league and all that. If the league was back today, but you know what they say, if butts were candy and nuts, so what a Merry Christmas we'd have. That way.
And we We should mention Nick Ludlam, who is a regular watcher, regular contributor to NFL Talk UK. He can't be with us tonight, but thanks for watching, Nick. I know you're going to catch up later, so we appreciate you. Adrian Gallagher, hey guys. Hey to you. And what we should say is,
Adrian.
Because some congratulations are in order, all right? Well, you've got a new job.
Oh.
Hey.
You know, I know after doing this for so many years and seeing the number of really, really good football coaches that aren't working, that it's a blessing anytime you get a chance to be in professional football. And, you know, there are 32 teams in the NFL and 9 in the Canadian Football League, which means there's not very many jobs.
Yeah.
And so, you know, if you think about it, I used to say this to people. I say, you know, if you think about it, if you were one of the 43 or 41 best surgeons in the world, you'd think you're a pretty good surgeon.
Yeah.
And, so when you have an opportunity to do it, it's a great way to make a living.
Hey, you started scheming?
Yeah, you know what? I tell you, because you know what, I went today, and I'm thinking to myself, okay, back on special teams, got some stuff I got to look at. So I dug into those Jacksonville files today to see if I can get a couple of those.
Get a few fake puns.
Yeah.
I love
That's
fake
pretty
puns.
good stuff now.
I hope you're going to be the most creative special teams guy in the Canadian Football League, and it's going to be inspired by Doug Marrone and his Jags.
But I tell you what, that's always kind of been our MO. But you can always learn, and that Frank Gans, who's probably the greatest special teams coach of all time, he used to keep a reel every year. This was back in the 16mm days, right? So it was like, like Cecil B. DeMille. You had to cut it and paste it together and all that stuff. But he would keep a reel of every fake punt in the National Football League, every blocked punt in the National Football League, every return for a touchdown in the National Football League. And he would go through it in the off season and he'd find little things. Yeah.
Well, so if you don't know, Jeff's returning to British Columbia Lions, is that right? The BC Lions, a special teams coach. You were there a fair few years ago now, but it's an exciting job, an exciting possibility for you. You've never worked with a head coach before.
No, right? The guy I'm working for, Wally Bono, is actually Wally's Canadian. He grew up in Montreal, played his college football at Idaho State, and then was a great player at Montreal in the league. Got into coaching and is the most successful head coach in the history of the league. This will be his last year coaching. He's going to have one. What do they call that? Retirement tour or whatever they call it.
Yeah, one last ride.
Yeah, and the cool thing about when I think about going back up there, number one, Vancouver's a beautiful city. Number two, you got a beautiful 65,000 seat indoor stadium. I mean, it is fantastic. And there's a lot of tradition in that team. You go back in time. And just in my time there, Doug Flutie was our quarterback, threw for more yards than any quarterback in the history of pro football, still to this day. 6,900 yards in one season.
Wow.
In a 16 game season. So we had a guy come up from the NFL. He had played with the Falcons, and he came up to us, and he was about a 6 foot, maybe 6'1" nose tackle, defensive lineman, tough as hell, but not very big. For a nose tackle, he's probably weighed 275.
Yeah.
And it was a guy that would go on and make incredible name for himself as a pro wrestler. If you guys remember Goldberg.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, Goldberg played nose tackle for us.
Wow.
Yeah, that was pretty cool. It was a great experience. Shelton Quarles, who went on and was a great linebacker at Tampa Bay and is now in the front office at Tampa Bay, played for us there. Maurice Kelly, who played 5 years for the Seahawks, and now the vice president of the Seahawks, played for us there. So we had it was fun. It's a good experience.
Oh, amazing stuff. We wish you all the best, and we look forward to coming out, don't we, Ben?
Yeah, I'm gonna tell you something, guys. Hey, come on out, because it is a rare place. Vancouver might be, when the sun shines, it might be as pretty a place as there is on the earth.
Nice. Well, let's go into the NFL, because it has been long enough, and there's been some massive games, some massive news, as there always is. I feel like we say that every week. A few people saying congratulations to you there, Jeff, as well. But the Patriots, the New England Patriots, they keep on rolling, Benny. They beat the Pittsburgh Steelers 27-24. But it didn't look like that way it didn't look like that was going to be the story kind of going into the last couple of minutes.
No, but it just did in another way. I was watching it and I just thought, oh, this has got Brady written all over it. It's just got the same story that we always kind of expect, and it happened in a really unusual way in the end. But personally watching it, I just always felt like it's still the Patriots' time. But I think the bridge is coming now. People are getting close to them.
All right, now let me ask you two guys, because this is really interesting for me to hear your take on this. When first question would be, when Juju Schuster caught that little crosser and they picked it, and Martavis Bryant just went and blocked the guy
really
coming.
did, yeah.
I mean, it was unbelievable. The officials can't call it, but let's not go there. So he catches that crosser, outruns everybody, then he runs out of gas and gets tackled on whatever the 7 or whatever it was.
About 10, yeah.
Did you have any doubt that New England was going to win it some kind of way?
I thought it was going overtime. I didn't think they'd get in. I thought it'd go overtime and then Brady comes back, but I didn't think it would happen the way it did.
Do you know what? I mean, I was there last year. I saw the greatest comeback. But there's been chinks in the New England armour, and the Steelers are a good side, and I just thought, you know what? This might be the coming where Pittsburgh step up. They do it. They're not the best defense, but I thought they're going to score here, and it would all unravel a little bit. The Jags would come up, take the first bite, and we'd be home advantage.
You know what? I keep going back to on that with them is if you just were a personnel evaluator,
yeah,
right, just a personnel evaluator, and you looked at the two teams, and I'm talking about the balance of the two teams, the depth through the roster, all that stuff.
Yeah.
You take Pittsburgh's roster every time.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Every time.
Their offense is unbelievable. The weapons that they've got at their disposal.
Hope Brown comes back, because that would be a disappointment for the league if he doesn't make the playoffs.
On the other side of that last drive with Rob Gronkowski, where he made 3 huge plays and the 2-point conversion as well to catch that. When he was standing over the defender and he just started laughing at him in his celebration, it was brutal, man. It was just like man versus boys.
But see, this is where I think to myself, what's Belichick's number 1 defensive rule? What's going to make you do all the time? Beat you with somebody that's not your best player, right? That entire last 2 minutes, Pittsburgh played single man-to-man on the best player on the field.
Yeah.
And again, here's the difference between, in my opinion, here's the difference between the Steelers and the Patriots when you try and play that coverage. When you play it on the Steelers, well, you need to, because you can't double anybody.
Yeah.
Because you don't want, say for example, Martavis Bryant on the backside with no post help. Nobody in the middle of the field. Because if you do that, you're going to get a post run on you, right? And you got Juju Schuster, and you got, the tight end,
Jesse James.
James, and you got Le'Veon Bell. Oh, but then there's that other guy too, right? Now you go to the Patriots.
Oh, Antonio Brown.
You go to the Patriots, and it's 2 minutes left to go in the game. I don't know much, but I damn sure know we don't have anybody that can cover that 6'7", 270-pound tight end that's just muscling guys all over the field.
Yeah, I mean, you look at the other side. You what? Danny Amendola,
Cooks,
Hogan, Brandon Cooks, Hogan.
Options,
you could run the ball, but
a
Rob Gronkowski stands
that's
out.
Where, and you know what? Before the game, we're talking, and I said to Kiko, I said, I think this right here will be a situation where they really, really miss Shazier. Because Shazier is the one guy that they have that's big enough and fast enough, if you put a safety over the top of him, to take Gronkowski out.
Great coverage.
You can take Malcolm Butler and you can put him on AB. You can take Joe Hayden and put him on Cooks. You can do that stuff and still play the safety on top of another guy. And I just go back to Wade in Denver's win to go to the Super Bowl a couple years ago when they won it. And he just was not going to let Gronkowski beat him. And every time, no matter where Gronk lined up, they had a way to double him. Always. And, you know, I think Pittsburgh handled that poorly. And really, guys, here's the deal. Let's all go into this situation. We're all on the sideline. We hit a ball, and there's less than, 58 seconds left to go in the game?
Yeah.
We hit a ball, and now our guy's running all over the field, right? And he gets tackled at the 7-yard line. And there's a play run, which you think scores a touchdown. But all scoring plays have to be what? Reviewed. Which means there's going to be what? Time.
Yeah.
Right? So in that time, in those 2 minutes or whatever it was, while they decided that Jesse James' ball wasn't a catch, which it wasn't by the rule, by the letter of the rule, right? What the hell are you doing on the sidelines in Pittsburgh that you go out there and you're all confused about whether you want to clock it or not clock it? You've got a headset from the offensive coordinator to the quarterback. You've got 2 minutes to use to talk about all the scenarios.
You've got 2 plays. That's it.
I mean, well, here's the deal. You can't control what the officials are going to call.
Yeah.
You can't control what New York's going to see. All you can control is what, and I guarantee you that every coach, all 32 head coaches in the National Football League have stood up in front of their team in training camp and said, men, controllable factors. We're going to control what we can control. In that critical moment, as Frank Gans would say, in that critical moment when man measures man, Pittsburgh lost their minds. And they panicked and they paid attention to things that they couldn't control, coaching-wise. There's a lot, and I'm not blaming Tomlin himself. It falls to him because he's the head coach. But in that scenario, Todd Haley, the time management guy upstairs, all of those guys need to be communicating that, hey, whoa, we got 2 minutes, let's talk about what we want to do. Do we want to take, like you say, one shot and then kick a field goal with 1 second left? Because you got 7, right? Yeah. You got enough time to take it, throw a fade, and if you don't get it, field goal. And let's go play some more.
Totally.
Yeah, I agree completely. I was just going to go back to your old point about Gronkowski, man coverage and stuff. Is there anyone in the AFC throughout the playoffs who will scheme against that and do you reckon can actually do it?
I really, really, really want to see what Jacksonville.
Yeah, I agree. They've got some.
I'm gonna tell you something. And I was Christmas shopping today, right? And this guy, and it's so cool because the English people are so polite.
That's a good way to finish that sentence. No. You could have finished it with a whole load of words.
No, I'm serious now. Because I'm doing some shopping, and you know how you feel somebody kind of like, you got that feeling somebody's looking at you?
Yeah.
Right, so I look over, and there's this guy standing there, and he looks at me, and he looks at me, and looks at me, then he smiles. And to break the uncomfortableness, I go over and do this, right? And we start talking, and he asked me, he said, who's going to win the Super Bowl? Which is the question you get all the time. And I said, I don't know, but you know what? If I was a betting man, and I had a couple loose quid, they'd be a team I'd go put on.
But you get good odds, I'm sure, still. I haven't looked.
They will have shrunk massively over the last 5 weeks. This is Jacksonville Jaguars. I mean, they're a team to be reckoned with at this point. They've beaten some good sides. I mean, they beat up the Texans, who are an undermanned team. I think they've absolutely destroyed the Texans this year, and they faced them twice without it.
Okay, all right. But before you get off that, I gotta ask.
I will say we're getting back to Vicky Cowley's point in just a minute. Sorry. And Jack Humphrey, thank you for joining us too.
Sorry, Vic. This is like in the pub. We're just. Did you guys see Clowney's statements after the game?
He called him trash, didn't he?
He called Blake Bortles, who was 20 of 26 for 300-some yards,
26 yards,
and just blistered your backside. And he said Blake Bortles is trash. How about that?
Blake Bortles has put it together for 3 weeks. You can give Blake Bortles all the grief you want for the last 2 years, 1.5 years, whatever. He's been a bad quarterback. There's no doubt about that.
At times.
Majoritively, Jeff. Like watching his games, he has been the reason that the Jacksonville Jaguars have been struggling. This season, and especially in the last 6 weeks, he, I believe, has learned that he's just got a renewed confidence. He knows that if he loses the ball, he's going to get it back again. because the defense is going to win it back for him.
So he doesn't have to force it.
So he doesn't force it as much. It feels to me like he's reading the field better. He's taking his time. He's picking his throws, and because of it, having Leonard Fournette's a great option. But he wasn't there this week, and he still got it done to people that you've never heard of. You know, they're picking guys off the street.
Yeah. You know, it's interesting. When you were sitting there saying that, I thought to myself, yeah, that's true, right, Tom? But then I thought, if he turns it over twice, then he might have to have it surgically removed from his backside because Marone would climb up him so far.
Yeah, and that's probably another thing, isn't it, Jeff? That maybe he needed a different coach. Maybe he needed a coach who was going to give him grit. We got the impression that Gus Bradley was a good guy, a nice guy, and maybe he needs somebody with a bit more fire in his belly. Tom Coughlin's not going to let him go either.
Well, yeah, I think it's important everybody understand there's a lot of ways to get it done. I mean, if you look at all the Super Bowl winning head coaches, there are a ton of them with different personalities. Tony Dungy never said a word, right? And Tom Landry never said a word on the sideline. No emotion, just to the point of almost like you think they're disinterested. And then, you know, you've got other guys like, you know, the Harbaughs that, you know, are John Gruden. Yeah, exactly. That's a great call. You know, I mean, so there's a lot of ways to get it done. You just have to do it within your personality, and then the mix of personality and player is so critical.
Yeah.
Like Goff. I mean, you know, and I go back to the off season when Mike Martz goes on a rant and goes after Sean McVay before he'd ever coached a game. Said he's too young, he's not ready, there's no way, this is a joke. What did they do? Hire a friend for Goff? Well, I think that same guy's going to walk down the aisle and be named NFL Head Coach of the Year. At least in my opinion, he should be.
I'm so glad you've mentioned that, because we're going to come on to that pretty soon. I'm just going to mention Vicky Cowley's point. She said her heart broke for Jesse James and that not catch in the Pittsburgh game. You seem to be, Jeff, on the other side. It's the rules. The rules are the rules.
Well, you know, I don't like the rule, frankly.
Yeah.
I think the rule is a reactionary rule to the Des Bryant play against the Packers a couple of years ago.
I've rewatched that today.
Yeah.
What a catch that would have been.
Yeah, and you know, and the Cowboy, you know, this is the thing about all that stuff that's so incredible. Like, I was talking to Cole Beasley, and they were on their way.
Yeah.
I mean, they were anointed as they were going to be the NFC Super Bowl, representative. And Cole's thinking, this might be my one shot. And then that play, and it's all over. Mm-hmm. And so the league does what most leagues will do. I'm not just pro football, it's every other league. When there's a big controversial thing, they want a CYA, and so they go invent this rule. And now how do you enforce it? Mm-hmm. Here's my question. We had a great conversation with this guy today in our production meeting. All right, tell me, Ben. There's the end zone. I hand the ball to you. You stretch your arm over the end zone, and a guy, once the ball's in the end zone, punches it out. Touchdown or not?
That's a touchdown, isn't it? Because I've got possession of the ball.
Now, you're standing at the goal line, and I throw you the ball. You catch it, visibly catch it. You're in control of the ball. Yeah. You extend the ball to the end zone as you're falling down. Your hand hits the ground, the ball comes out. Is it catch or no catch?
It's not. I agree. I do agree with that.
The stupid thing is you got to survive the ground, right? But it doesn't.
But you don't have to survive the ground. That's what I'm saying. You don't have to survive the ground. This is like 101 stuff. The ground cannot cause a fumble.
And had he caught the ball before? I think he caught the ball, he was in possession of it, and then he went over the end zone, and then he fumbled it.
What you're seeing right now on this Facebook Live is fans everywhere
around the world
going, the rule doesn't make sense, it's bad for the game, change the rule.
Well, you know what? It'll be interesting to see what the competition committee does.
Exactly.
And for the viewers that have not, had an experience with it, the competition committee is a group of people, right? Coaches, ownership, general managers. small group that gets together every year and they look at all of the things, officials, all of the things that have gone on in the league and where they can change or, tweak the rules to make it a better game. The one thing about the league that I really enjoy is, and sometimes it makes you crazy because they do some stuff, but this league's not afraid to try and make the game better.
Yeah.
You look at all the changes that have happened. God, who would have ever thought 15 years ago that we'd be kicking extra points from the 30-yard line?
Yeah, also, another rule, the touchback rule. I know I've seen a lot of
That's
stuff
coming.
That's I don't mind it personally. Like, if you dive and you drop the ball into the end zone, I think you should be punished for that. To be honest, like you got to maintain possession of the ball. Like, also, if I'm in play and someone knocks it out and it goes out of bounds, I get the ball back, which
I cannot wait for you guys to come to Vancouver and see a CFL game.
Yeah,
because you're gonna go, what? Like what? But that's another.
We'll get into that.
Altogether.
Let us know what you think about the touchback rule, about the catch no catch rule. We'd love to have your questions, your comments, your thoughts on that. What have we got here? Jack Humphrey says, "Congratulations, coach." Faye Kippen sends you a lot of banana emojis because she wants to know whether Tom Brady comes out bananas.
Oh, we're still on that.
We're still on that. Yeah, I think that's become a thing.
Yeah,
for you, Jeff. At some point, right? Okay, here. Now we're gonna commit it to camera. If the Patriots get to the Super Bowl,
will I ask that question, Tom?
Yes.
Yeah, I don't have any.
Yeah. Faye Kippen, do you hear that?
That is proof.
If I get to the Super Bowl, because you're taking me with you, never forget that. I will make sure that Jeff does that. If Jeff's on his own, then I've said it before. He's a loose cannon.
I tell you what, look at him leveraging his position.
Yeah, exactly. So actually, he needs me there, Faye. I'll send you the bank details, and we can work that one out. Jamie McGettrick says Coach Tomlin is one of those guys in the committee, which is pretty ironic. The rules commission that you were just talking about there, Jeff. So that must be tough for him.
Well, it'll be interesting to see what they do with it. Because they'll look at it. All of the controversial plays of this year, they'll look at.
Faye Kippen says yes. I assume that's about putting some money in my bank account. Thank you. John Benger, Jeff, as a coach, I watched that catch. I can see why they apply the rule and say no TD. But what I cannot understand is his knee is down. If he's touched it, it's second and goal at the 1. So was it just a poor application of the rule?
Only true if he's been touched.
Right.
That's the difference between college football and NFL football. Or pro football, because we have the same.
He hadn't given himself up, had he? He was in the process of the catch.
Yeah.
So there you go. Thank you for that, John.
And that's why he, when he went down and he rolled into the end zone.
Fine, no touch.
Yeah.
John, I'm really glad you asked that question because I know that when I was on Twitter on Sunday night, there was so many people asking that question. So hopefully you've answered that for a few people who are possibly scared of asking that question. Don't ever be afraid of asking a question because that's what we're here to do. We're here to talk about ball.
Talk about football,
yeah, absolutely. Jack Humphrey says, perhaps Jeff could coach my Giants special teams. Terrible Sunday against the Eagles. Should we get onto that game?
Yeah, you know what? I tell you, we were talking the other day. I ran into a couple of Giants fans, and we were talking about, that obviously they got a coaching position they got to fill. Who's out there? What usually happens in these things, if you look at them historically, if they went young, the previous guy that didn't work out, they're going to go with a veteran.
Right.
If they went offense and it didn't work out, they're going to go with defense. When defense didn't work out, they're going to go. They're going to go to the opposite extreme. No better example than Jeff Fisher.
Yeah.
Experienced, been to the Super Bowl, coached 3 NFL teams, Houston, which morphed into Nashville.
Yeah.
And the Rams, and was a defensive coordinator in Philadelphia, played with the Bears all the way back on that 85 team and all that stuff. Who'd they replace him with? Young, offensive guy. Right? So, Chicago, what do you think you're going to get?
So hopefully that would be great. Young.
What, Jeff Fisher?
No. Young offensive.
That's the thing. So if you're the Giants, again, the way it usually works, not saying that it's going to happen, but this is the way it usually works, is, okay, what they have? They had an offensive coach who was a younger guy. No experience as a head coach.
Yeah.
So then you say, okay, well, if they're going to counterbalance that with this next hire, who are the veteran defensive guys that are out there that are ready to be head coaches?
Do you think
Jim
Wade
Schwartz?
Do you think Wade Phillips could still get?
You know what? I think that would be a great move, but do I think it'll happen? No.
Would he leave, do you reckon?
I think to be a head coach one more time. Here's the thing with Wade, in my opinion. He's always been in a situation where, if you go back to his first head coaching job, how tough would this be? Your father is the head coach. You're in New Orleans, and they run your dad out, and they make you the interim coach.
Yeah,
right? You're right. You got to listen to
You're
all.
a lamb.
Yeah, you're listening to all the stuff that they said was wrong with your father. Yeah. That you're still your father, right? Then he goes to Denver, right? And I can't remember if it was Shanahan or who it was. Something happened in the middle of the season, so he finished that season, got hired. A couple years later, gone. Buffalo got hired as an interim guy. Couple of seasons gone, right? Dallas goes as a defensive coordinator, right? And eventually gets an opportunity to be the head coach. He's the thing to me with Wade is Wade's never really had a place where the consensus was, let's go bring him in like you're talking about, Tommy. Let's give him everything he needs, let him surround himself with his guys, and see, because he is a hell of a football coach. Now, again, here's the other part of it too. You're getting the guys that are selecting these guys in a lot of cases, to be real honest with you, don't know much about football, right? But they do read the paper, right? So this guy's a hot guy, right? Vance Joseph, here's an example again, and I love Vance. He played for me. He's one of my kids. But to think he's ready to go from 1 year as a defensive coordinator to be the head coach of the Denver Broncos, who 2 years ago won a Super Bowl, that's a tall ask.
I've got to say, we've got to do a coaching show because there is so much to talk about here, and we're getting off the games, and that's absolutely fine. Ben, I've got one for you though. You're looking for a young defensive coach. Do you look much further than Matt Patricia? I mean, he was talked about last year, leaving the Patriots and taking off on his own. The Bears a good spot for Matt Patricia? What do you reckon?
I don't know if the Bears are a particularly good spot, because I think the Bears will go offense, but I would not be surprised to see him. Here, this is my take, right? From inside the business. These are the guys that
are ready,
right? Or are the guys that people are talking about, right? I think Dave Tobe, who's the special teams coach in Kansas City, he's going to get interviewed for some jobs. I've heard Indianapolis, I've heard Chicago. He coached with the Bears. He was the special teams coordinator with the Bears when they had that run of success, return kicks, the Super Bowl. Has done a fantastic job in Kansas City. Quality guy, great coach. His challenge is he's a special teams guy, and they're very rare. The only two that I can remember that went from special teams to head coach are Frank Gans in Kansas City and Johnny Harbaugh. Now I'm sure there are more, but those are the two that jump out of me. So, young offensive guy for Chicago. Who would that be?
McDaniels at Patriots?
Yeah,
Patriots,
the other side of it, Josh McDaniels.
Yeah. Carl Shannon obviously went last year.
I don't know.
So you know what? This is a good question to put out there.
Yeah.
If Bears fans particularly, who do you think, who's a young offensive guy you'd like to see be your head coach?
Yeah.
While we're talking about the Eagles and the Giants made a good go of it, which is nice to see. And I know that they were questioned a little bit in their post-match. It was like, why haven't you been here all season? Why haven't we seen this team? What a frustrating question for a player who's given their all every week.
That's a tough one. And you know what? And about the Giants, just me personally, I'm rooting for Spags.
Yeah.
Because he's paid his dues in this game. Started in NFL Europe in pro football. Bounced around, became coordinator with the Giants, won a Super Bowl, parlayed that into the Rams job. Yeah. didn't work out there. Bad football team he had, and he's had to fight his way back. And I think, Benny, if you're in the Giants organization, if he can just show a little bit of success down the road, because the first week you got a discount because I mean you're only there 2 practices, you got to go play a game, but you can see the jump in the team the second week. Now, if these next 2 weeks you see that pattern continue, let's say they go finish with 2 wins, but he's going to get a lot of consideration, I think, for that Giants.
Especially like you say, if there's no other standout candidates, then.
But yeah, I mean, you think about it, who's out there? I mean, you go. Jim Schwartz is a guy, but would New York hire a Philadelphia assistant to be the head coach? I don't know.
Yeah, it's a questionable one. One that I wanted to ask you, Jeff, and I mean, Jack Humphrey says here, should the Eagles be worried the fact that the Giants were able to put 29 points on them? A question kind of related to that. Eli Manning, 434 yards, 3 TDs against one of the best teams in the conference. Did Eli Manning just earn himself a bit of a reprieve and maybe another year in New York?
What's your take?
He'll start the first game of next season somewhere. I think. I don't think he's done. I think someone will take him.
But in New York?
Yeah, I think they might. And I think it depends on who they bring in. If they keep Spagnolo inside, I think they'll definitely keep him. If they bring someone new in, that might be like you said, if you bring a young coach, he might be like, I want a new guy, blah blah. But
yeah, I think that's part of the sell job that Spags and his agent have got to be doing right now with the Maras is, hey, we got a good football team here. You look at our defense. When we get healthy, you go front to back, Snacks, JPP, Landon Collins, Beckham. I mean, there's a lot of
Ingram, Sterling Shepard,
really good players. They got to fix that offensive line.
Yeah. Get rid of Brandon Marshall. He's wasting a lot of cap space and put some money in the line, I'd say.
Well, I think all those things are things they're going to have to look at. But you know what, though, Tommy? I just am pulling for Spags in the worst way because I wanted to see the Eagles personally win the game. But on the other hand, kind of left-handedly, I wanted to see Spags win the game because I know it would do an awful lot for his career.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm glad the Eagles kept it rolling for now anyway, because I'd like to see him.
What was your take on Doug's comments after the game? He was very, very blatant. He goes, we can't, we think we're going to win in the playoffs playing like this. We got to think again.
So I know exactly what you're talking about. And for me, you've got to know your locker room there. You've got to know whether that is going to fire up your guys or whether that's going to derail some people, because that's a divisive comment, and they won the game first and foremost, so they are keeping on rolling. But sometimes you need a rocket up your jacksie to keep you going. So I think
your what?
Your jacksie?
What exactly?
That's your bum.
That's your butt.
Backside.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's better than your ass. So I'm hoping for Doug that was a well-measured comment, and he's already told his players that, because I think, and you're in a much better position to tell me how a locker room is, but if he's gone in there and said, well done lads, you won another game, one more game and we've got home field advantage, you've all done really well, but we can't play like that again. You guys are the heartbeat of this team, and he builds them all up, and then he tells the press, then that's good. If he's gone out and just kind of lambasted them, that's a different story, no?
What's your take?
Well, I think now, the only person who's new to that team at the moment is Nick Foles. Nick Foles played quite well. 4 touchdowns. So you can take him to one side and go, oh, you played really well, mate. Now, I think going out to the public and saying we're not good enough is to every other player on the team. That's like, we've proven Carson Wentz gone down, this guy can do a job, you step up and play how you've played the rest of the season, support Nick Foles, we can still do this.
I think that's a real good point, because he does.
That's what he's trying to do.
I think Nick Foles put a bunch of deposits in the confidence bank of his teammates. But here's the thing that's really hard. I mean, it's freaking agonizingly hard. We're fans and we love football every day, right? They're coaches and players, and they start every morning at 5:30 or 6 in the morning. They're in there till 6 if you're a player, till 2 in the morning if you're a coach.
Yeah.
And you're now in week 14 or 15, whatever it is. It is such a grind. I mean, it is and you can say it and say it and say it and say it, and then it takes a game like that to really bring it home. A lot of times to players, and that's why I think this could be a really good thing for the Eagles at this time of year, because now they snap out of it for 2, go into the playoffs rolling. Your quarterback has 3 starts under his belt, and you go play.
Yeah.
Well, we shall see. We shall see if it works or not. And the Eagles continue to look good. I'm really pleased for Nick Foles that he could make it happen. 4 touchdowns. They're going to play a different way. They have to adapt, but he's a good quarterback. We talked about it, I think, at the weekend. It's not like you're dropping back to, I don't know, to someone, Ryan Mallett or someone like that, where there's.
He got no chance.
You're done, aren't you?
That's what Peterson said, didn't he? He said that's why we paid Nick Foles. Like we went out and got him for this reason, just in case. So you got to back him now.
Yeah. It's for moments like this, right, that owners will say, "Well, I want a quarterback as my head coach," because they're the ones that address the team.
Yeah.
The quarterbacks are. So, and Doug played quarterback for us. He is. You described him perfectly. You said measured. That's Doug. He's not going to go this way and this way emotionally. He's very by the point, and I think he'll get this team straight.
Hello to my wife, Hannah, who's watching.
Hey, Hannah. Wie geht's? Was ist los mit Ihnen?
Hey, look at that. We're learning German and talking football, so that's good. We're deviating from.
Speaking of which.
Oh God, no.
Sebastian Vollmer.
Yes.
Seabass. Will be gracing the shores of this island in January. That's all I'm going to say.
Look forward to that, because Sebastian Vollmer, we spoke with him last year. He was on the Super Bowl podcast video show, and he is an excellent analyst, and he's a great guy.
He will be a guest on NFL Talk UK.
Oh, it's an exclusive. It's an exclusive for me and Ben.
Yeah,
we're finding out information, all sorts. That's great. Hannah actually says, "Sehr gut," which means
Vielen Dank.
Yeah, she's very good. Let's go off script. Lord Hayden Burks. Lord. Should AJ McCarron be allowed to take Dalton's place for the last 2 games? He's had a couple of stinkers, Jeff, with the Bengals the last couple of weekends. The Bengals aren't going anywhere quickly. Do you want to see what you've got with AJ McCarron last couple of games?
I think this now is beyond a coaching decision, because the coach won't be there next year.
Yeah,
this now becomes an organizational decision.
Yeah.
So Mike Brown, in my opinion, anybody that you have on your roster that you have questions about, you better see them, a lot of them.
Yeah.
Because this is the last true test you're going to get, right? And training camp, guys, this. The training camp's training camp.
Yeah.
Preseason's preseason.
Yeah. This
is when you get the real deal. And if you are going to make a decision, particularly on a quarterback, because they're $1 million guys. And this isn't a $500,000 backup safety. This is a investment.
He needs the snaps, and he and Ben, he's been exciting. Like, people wanted to trade for him earlier in the season and before the season started.
Yeah, he had a lot of hype around him in terms of.
Well, which is really interesting. All right,
whichever guy.
If you're willing to trade him.
Watch out for your ukulele, Jeff, because you might lose that.
If you're willing to trade him, don't you try and get him snaps to increase his trade value?
Yeah, I agree. You see, raise his trade value, potentially. And if it goes wrong, then it's not the right guy. So.
There's nothing to lose there. Adrian Gallagher asked a really, really good question. I like this a lot. Ignore where we are in the season, all right? Having seen all the teams play and how far they've come along since the season started, which teams would you like to see face off against each other? So you got to pick the most entertaining teams. Let's say NFC v AFC. Let's say it's essentially a Super Bowl, right? Right at this moment, who are the most exciting teams that you'd like to see pair off against each other?
That's a great question. I was all on the Chargers a week ago, but I'm off them now.
Yeah,
they were very disappointing. So I'm not going to say Chargers.
You pick it.
I'm going to go Vikings for the NFC, because I'm really enjoying watching Case Keenum play. I think he looks great. He looks great. After Dalvin Cook went down, everyone was like, "Oh, Latavius Murray's going to crap." McKinnon. It's been so good. They're still so fun to watch, both sides of the ball. So I'm definitely going Vikings.
I've got a game for you. The LA Rams. Todd Gurley, one of the most exciting running backs right now. Jared Goff making it happen. They've got 6 receivers who are possibly going to go over 1,000 yards each. They are just a cacophony of weapons.
Nice word.
Yeah, Jeff, a cacophony.
That's a Cambridge word.
Oh yeah. And they've got to face off against the most exciting team in the AFC right now, the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Oh, okay.
It's the team that are charging up the AFC. They look good. They defend great, and now they're putting together on offense. That's what I'd like to see.
All of those teams. I see every one of your points, and to me, you think about when you go to Super Bowl week, who would you like to spend a week with? Who would you like to, be around and get the hype of the game and watch the players and the coaches and all that? Well, certainly not the Patriots because they've been there, done that. It's like, okay, we're going back to summer camp, you know. But you start thinking about teams, and everybody has a compelling argument outside of the Patriots because the Steelers, there's so many storylines. Shazier is Big Ben. Is this going to be his last year? You go to the Jaguars, and it's this young incoming team, and I just really think that, to me, if I could pick 2, I would love to see the Jaguars because I think Shah Khan has stood in the face of a lot of, sniggers, a lot of people saying they don't have any idea what they're doing down there. Same stuff that the Browns are experiencing right now. That 3 years ago was Jacksonville. Yeah. I would love to see him experience that moment. All those players, Paul Puzzlezzi, who's never been to a playoff game in 11 years in the National Football League. Interesting enough, Tequila was with us 15 years. 15 years, which is like, if you measure an NFL's players' years, it's like dog years, right?
60 years.
It's like 6 he played 60 years of tennis or something, right? So he never played in one playoff game. So Puzzlezny has a chance to get to the playoff game. The Rams, that story is just outrageous,
So we've got some dividing opinion here. Lord Hayden Burke says Rams v Jags, a good shout. Thank you very much. Harry says Jags, oh my, really? Harry, you've got to go back and watch the Jags over the last couple of weeks because they're a different team to the 4-win team that we've seen for the last 5 years.
Yeah, I wasn't a fan of the Jags at the start of the season when they were winning, but I've got to say now they're actually playing nice football. It's good to watch. They're
an absolute force. So I want to take the conversation a little bit in a different direction. We've talked about the best teams that you'd like to watch. I'd like to put this question to you fellas. The Seattle Seahawks, are they a team on the decline? Has their elite phase, their NFC kind of championship caliber phase, is it over? Are we seeing the decline of the Seahawks?
To me, I think it's a little early to write a postmortem, but I think there's some shocking realizations. Right? They are no longer the bully on the block. I think Jacksonville showed the entire league that if you don't back off of them and you compete with them and hit them and all those things. The other thing is that this is the reality of the National Football League now. Is other than New England, what happened to Seattle after that second Super Bowl, right? The one that they didn't give it to Marshawn on the goal line of the house.
Yeah.
Well, you couldn't pay all those guys. So now look at that defense. Right? If you just look at that defense from the first Super Bowl team, Brown, gone. Right?
Yeah.
Maven, gone. Irvin, gone. I mean, you start, all of a sudden you start losing pieces like that. Yeah. You can't, they traded in the biggest fleece job maybe in the last 5 years was the trade where New Orleans sent Jimmy Graham to Seattle. Yeah. And everybody said, how in the world can you trade this athletic touchdown scoring tight end for a center, right? A guy, you know, never's going to have his name in the paper, never. Well, that center that they got solidified a line in New Orleans that was bad. And, you know, you look at that trade now, and for New Orleans won that trade hands down.
John Benger says his team, the Seattle Seahawks, are no longer a team. He thinks that there's... Well, I'm now subtweeting him a little bit, but he's the team was in inverted commas, Jeff. Do you think there might be... You know, they had such a strong identity, the Seahawks, you know. They were the Legion of Boom. They were this aggressive...
All that shit's
so strong.
All that
It's all right. We're on Facebook Live on Sky Sports.
all that stuff's great when you're winning.
Yeah.
But if you're not winning,
It's a burden, isn't it?
nobody wants to hear it. Yeah, exactly, Ben. And nobody wants to
live
hear
up
that
to it.
stuff, right? You think, as a matter of fact, they're lining up for a piece of your ass now, right? Because you've been that guy. I know Maurice Kelly, who's the vice president of player development there, is one of my kids, one of my players. And they run that organization differently than most organizations. Players at the Seahawks are given a voice. They're encouraged to say the things that are on their mind.
Right.
Pete has some very simple rules. Compete, hustle, be on time. That's about it, right? He encourages personalities. He doesn't get bent out of shape when Sherman is barking at somebody on the sideline, or Michael Bennett says something in the paper, or whatever. That stuff doesn't bother him, and he kind of bunkers in. Right? They're a very close football team, but really right now, I mean, how many running backs have they played this year?
All of them.
Yeah.
I mean, it's been crazy, and yeah, I mean, it's just the way it is. And so in this game, in this league, where injuries are such a factor, you can go from being real good to being real average real fast.
Yeah, I agree. I do think Russell Wilson is still...
Oh, man. He's freaking amazing, huh?
Yeah, but the point there is that if they didn't have Russell Wilson, who's an MVP candidate, by the way, this team would be picking like top 5, top 6 in the draft.
Yeah. You hit it exactly. My bitch about this MVP thing. First of all, that's a marketing tool.
Yeah,
right?
Agreed.
But if we just say most valuable player and leave it as most valuable player, who is it?
To their team?
No, most valuable player. They can't play for somebody else, so they can only be to their team.
Yeah, I'm seeing a point about Russell Wilson here coming up as most valuable player, I think. He's up there. I think I like the Antonio, but then
how many wins does Seattle have right now? 8?
8,
yeah.
Okay. All right. Question. I want to hear your take on this. Your team's Jacksonville. How many wins you got?
10.
Okay. Who would you take out of that lineup? And Jacksonville would go from a 10-win team to a 5-win team. Anybody?
Calais Campbell, maybe.
I agree. I don't think anyone would though, would they?
No, you're right. I mean, I should answer no one. He's the most important player in that team, and he's not as important as Russell Wilson is to the Seahawks.
Yeah. So if you say that it's the most valuable player. Right now, I'd say Brady has to be in that conversation because there's nothing behind him. If Jimmy G was there
that's
a different deal, right?
That is a crazy tactic.
They are running on a razor wire.
I can't, sorry to just digress slightly, but that seems absolutely madness from Bill Belichick, because they're favourites for the Super Bowl, and you're playing with literally nobody behind your man.
Who was this philosopher said that the line between genius and madness is very thin?
Yeah, he's dancing with that line.
Yeah. But okay, so let's take that a step further. Who's won at least 8? Right? How many teams have won 8?
I don't know.
10 or 12?
Yeah, something like that.
Okay. If you lost one player from that team, would that team revert to a 4 or 5 win team? Wouldn't be Aaron Rodgers because they proved it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you might have said the Eagles, but I think they've proven it with one win. But still, I think they've proven they could win a few games still.
I think
Looking at the
I
teams
think
now.
the other one is Matt Stafford.
Yeah. What about Cam?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's another one you talk
Yeah.
about.
What about somebody like I'm looking at the Saints here, and they've won because they've got a great running back tandem. But if you lose one of those players, you lose Alvin Kamara, somebody like that. Does that maybe not 4 or 5 games, Jeff? But that's been a huge part of their identity this year.
Yeah, I hear you, Tommy, and that's true.
I watched the Falcons game though.
Yeah, I just
Concussion.
studied it today at Sky
Yeah.
when he went out with a concussion.
And they looked like Adrian Peterson's team again, didn't
Yeah.
they? Well,
But when you lose 12 or 14 touches a game, which is about what he gets, right? Now that's 100 yards in those 12 or 14 touches normally. You take Russell Wilson out with that offensive line, and you got to let's just play devil's advocate.
who backs up Russell Wilson?
Take Joe Flacco, for example, with his mobility, or Phillip Rivers, or I don't know, pick them, right? Stick them behind that offensive line. And see
Yeah,
how they
that's true. That's a great point.
Yeah, they're getting trounced.
Yeah.
Right, before we get on to our big jumper reveal, which we're going to do very, very shortly, I just want to touch on what's going on in the UK at the moment with NFL. So we'll start with Sky Sports, Jeff. Because it's Christmas, we get a load more games, which is nice. We had some Saturday games this week, and we've got some Saturday games again. You've got the Colts and the Ravens, at the Ravens. That's 9 p.m. on Saturday night, followed by the Vikings and the Packers. I mean, it's two decent. Well, the Ravens, decent team, still pushing for the playoffs against the Colts, who are banged up and bang average. And again, the Vikings against the Packers team, who have had the wind knocked out of them a little bit, haven't they?
Okay, had
I know what you're saying.
it not come out already, and we were just on Sunday evening talking after the game, you know your chances of making. I mean, they could still make it theoretically, right? But it's going to take like an act of Congress and God getting involved too. And but if you think about that football team, what do you do with your quarterback who's a little still hurt?
They put him on injured reserve. He's done.
Roger's done.
You're supposed to go back in the timeline.
I did say that.
Oh, sorry.
What would you have done?
What would I would have put him on injured reserve.
Oh, you could be another coach.
But see, here's a perfect time about what we talked about though. Brett Hundley has had 5 starts now.
And what was the improvement towards the end?
Yeah, and let's give him let's give him 2 more starts, and let's put it all on it. Give him the whole playbook.
Yeah.
Let him go play, and let's see if we've got, a quarterback in waiting.
Yeah, you work out what you've got. Sunday night, very, very. I put down here frisky for 6 p.m. because I think there's a trio of interesting
Mine
games.
for Sunday night, Tommy, with the frisky comment.
Wow. So the Sky Sports have chosen Saints and Falcons, right?
That is going to be a slugfest.
So that's the friskiest of the frisky matchups. I also like the Patriots and Bills. Bills have still got something to fight for.
Yeah.
Patriots are a good side.
Call it for me then. I want you guys tell me what
Both
you
those
think.
games?
Patriots, Bills first. Let's go that one because that one's fascinating to me.
Where's it at?
Oh,
Foxborough.
yeah.
Gillette.
Well, who are you going to go? Well, you said Patriots.
I'm going to go for the Patriots.
Okay, I'm going to go the Bills then.
Right, now you got to back up your position.
Because the Patriots showed on Sunday that they are made of more than just metal. They're made of heart and grit, and then they got done by the Dolphins, and Bill Belichick won't let that happen again this season. They're going all the way to the championship game, and the Bills is a decent test for them, but they're going to show the range of weapons that they've got.
Okay, Western New York.
I'll have to go for, let's hope it snows, and then we can get the Bills from a couple of weeks ago where they were, I really enjoyed watching them in the snow. They were good. Give the ball to Sean McCoy all the time, let them run, like slow motion football, Bills to win. But that requires snow.
Tyrod Taylor, I like Tyrod Taylor, and I don't understand why Bills fans hate on him quite so much, because he makes things happen And he protects the football as well.
Because he's not Jim Kelly. And why do they hate on every quarterback that's ever been in Miami since 13?
Mm-hmm.
Because he's not Dan Marino. And that's just the way those are fans. I agree. I think Tyrod Taylor's better than people give him credit for, especially as limited an offensive package as he has. He's trying to, again, they're playing. I think Sean McDermott's done a great job there. He's instilled discipline. He's got rid of eye guys. He's really done a good job coaching that football team. But they're a long way from being deep into the playbook, right? Yeah. They're winning on complimentary football. I'm gonna tell you something. The Patriots, to me, this is a chance now for the Patriots to make a statement to that. You remember this when you're a kid and you're about, usually it happens to boys when they're about 13 or 14. You think you could whip your old man's ass. And so you do something stupid and he freaking knocks your ass off. And then you all of a sudden go, I am not ready for that. I think that's what we're going to get in Buffalo.
I should say, we've got a couple of... Harry's questioning my use of the word frisky, which is fair enough. I don't mind that. He's going, Falcons will win, and Bills hope for the win there. Ollie Baines says, what are the rules of NFL? We're going to save that one for the Facebook Live in the off-season. Ollie, thanks for that. Paul James, Colts fan, just joined us. Paul, I just dismissed your Colts. I think you'll agree with that. Yes.
Like I'm in class again, right?
Yes, Brian Bowles.
Here's the thing. Good year or bad year for the Colts?
This year?
Good year or bad year for the Colts?
It's a bad year, but I think they've learned some lessons. I think the trade for Jacoby Brissett was a good trade, and I think that puts them in a decent place where now they can make some decisions off-season about what they want to do.
Good year or bad year for the Colts?
I know what you want me to say.
I don't want you to say anything. I want you to tell me
what you want me to say.
You're married, aren't you? I can tell you're married because you already think like a married man.
Listen,
just tell me what you think.
It was a travesty of a year, I think, because they've got... I thought they did a brilliant job bringing in Jacoby Brissett because they knew Luck was beat up. They lied about it from the start. They said he was going to be ready week 2, week 3. He obviously was never ready. They brought in Brissett, which I thought was a great move. They never fixed the offensive line. They never give him the right weapons. They haven't... Nobody... They're going to get a good draft pick, and they're going to have a quarterback, so they don't need to do that. But nobody, I believe, starts the season hoping that they're going to get a good draft pick. I think if you get to week 8 and you're looking, then maybe things change. But it's another wasted season for the Indianapolis Colts.
That's rather strong, don't you think? Wasted?
A wasted season.
Wasted.
Yeah, totally.
Wasted when you can give your backup quarterback a 14-game road test.
23-year-old as well.
That's not a wasted season because you can't do that if you're playing Andrew Luck.
You trade Luck. We've had this before, but
but here's the thing. What's one of, and Neil would go bonkers if and he'll probably watch this and slip my tires on my car. But here's one of the differences between Luck and Brady. Who impacts the salary cap the most?
Luck, massive.
Yeah, because Brady is. I'm not saying he's more of a team guy, but he gets the fact that I can't keep Gronk, I can't keep Malcolm Butler, I can't keep all these guys if I'm going to make what the quarterback money calls for. It's the same thing with Stafford. When they put Stafford so far out there, and everybody, and I'm the first one to bitch about the Lions running game, but you got to have offensive linemen, and they went out and got Riley Reef, right?
Yeah.
They lost Riley Reef, but they went out and got guys. The challenge becomes you can't pay one guy so much money that you can't have a team around it because the game still requires 53 guys playing together for 3 hours on Sunday afternoon.
You certainly can't pay him if he's not going to play, and we haven't seen him for the last 1.5 seasons. Yeah, look, he was the best paid player in the NFL, and we've barely seen him since then. And they haven't fixed that line. Like they may be trying, but they're not succeeding. Somebody and to me, I said it was a wasted season. You're right. They found Jacoby Brissett. That's great, but I mean, if they fix their offensive line, then maybe they would have never had to have found him because they would have protected.
Was it letting Dorsett go a good move or a bad move for them?
I can't see why it was a particularly good move. Like what, to get Brissett in? I think that was a good move. I think that was great.
Yeah, I think it's okay.
I think
they've got a couple of receivers who are okay. They've got Jack Doyle.
Brissett's going to be a good player, I think.
Yeah, I mean, and anytime you can get we see it right now in Philadelphia. 16 weeks.
Yeah.
In this game, as much even as they're protected, there are very few of them that are going to go 16 weeks healthy. It just doesn't happen. I mean, Aaron Rodgers is about as tough as that boot over there. I mean, but he didn't stay healthy and hasn't stayed healthy.
Yeah.
You know, it's just the way it is. They're getting hit. These are huge human beings that are hitting them and landing on them and all that stuff.
Yeah, well, I'd like to hear it from Paul, our resident Colts fan. If you think it's been a good season, Paul, you can let us know. You can let us know if it was a bad season as well.
We've listened to his Insta reactions, and they've been tough to listen to. I think it's a tough season.
Is he Paul a downer on the Colts?
Well, it's just he watches all the games, doesn't he? So he's got to sum it up.
It's hard as a fan.
Paul, I need to know this. I need just you hit me on this one or hit us on this one. Chris Ballard, right, the GM. Now he's a year into his business, right? Did he move the team forward at all, in your opinion? I'm anxious to hear what you say.
Yeah, we'll wait for that. And
you know what? How do we do this so that we can get this kind of interaction? I mean, I love you two guys, but
yeah, sure. Yeah, you talk to me all the time.
Yeah, but it's like I wish we had a longer table. We'd get more people sitting at it.
Hang on. Let me hit. Hang on. Sorry about my finger, guys. Right.
This is a high budget operation.
Bring Paul on camera. Okay, I'm trying to add Paul right now, and Paul doesn't know about this, so...
He might know, he's probably watching.
Well, yeah, if he's watching, I'll find out, but... We're going to wait with bated breath.
You'd have some filler.
Right, okay. Well, so I'm going to go through the Sky Sports games, because we get distracted really easily on That's All You Can.
But no, there's so much to talk about.
Exactly, right. So you got Colts and Ravens on Saturday, and then followed by the Vikings-Packers early on... Oh, he's at work. He did text me saying he was sneaking out to watch a bit on work. He probably can't answer.
A smoke and a little watch on your...
Yeah, that's it. Then you've got the Saints and the Falcons on Sunday night. This is why we don't get through it, because
we're talking some football history here. Why is it that the Saints and the Falcons is such a big rivalry game? Do you guys know?
No.
One of the reasons why.
What's division?
That's true.
That's one.
Let's go to your story.
That's good. That's about story, isn't it? Come on, Jeff. Story time.
All right. Who is the greatest Danish football player to ever play in the NFL?
Ben?
Oh, after you said.
I've got no idea.
What?
The greatest Danish.
Danish. From Denmark would be that guy. Kicker.
Oh, Anderson.
Morten Andersen.
1-0 better. I know this story.
All right. Morten Andersen is the Falcons kicker. When my buddy, Jerry Glanville, was the head coach of the Falcons. Free agency comes to the NFL. Morten opts for New Orleans in the division.
Oh, from the Falcons.
From the Falcons.
Oh, and that's where it started.
So he goes from a Falcon team to a New Orleans team in the division. Unwritten rule at that point in the NFL.
Yeah.
You don't do that, right? So Jerry, being Jerry, and back in the day when this stuff could go on, I won't say he put a bounty on him. I won't say that because I wasn't sitting in the room. But I do know this, that when Morten Andersen kicked off the first play of the game, they went and got him.
Oh,
big luck.
And that was how it...
That's how it started. And now there's no love lost between those
None.
two.
I mean, you talk about... And I think, to me, I watched that game today, I watched it really close because I was cutting some stuff for Sean, and then I'm doing a piece on Michael Thomas, right? And so I watched the game really, really close at both sides of it. The Saints get the Falcons at home. It's going to be tough on the Falcons.
But the Falcons have got something over the Saints, haven't they? They've won a lot of the matchups recently.
They won the last one, but you look at that and you just go, Kamara got hurt.
Yeah, which is big.
Yeah, and I'm gonna tell you something. That young corner they got, Lattimore was not even in the least bit afraid of Julio.
Yeah.
So,
well, if you're up to some NFL on Christmas Day, you got the Pittsburgh Steelers at the Texans. That's 9 p.m. and the Raiders and the Eagles at 1 a.m. If you're staying up throughout Christmas night, that's on Sky Sports. Obviously, the rest of the games will be on Game Pass as ever. And it's Christmas. It's Christmas coming up. So, with that in mind, guys.
It's time.
Well, it's time for one thing.
He's still there. Don't worry.
I brought you a couple of Christmas gifts because Ben, I'm going to give you yours first. This is actually from me and Jeff. That one.
Thanks, Jeff. You're welcome.
I didn't know you got it done.
Oh no!
So
I didn't know. When did you get that done?
Oh, I just get things done. You know me.
I'm gonna put it on right.
Oh, you got it. That's right.
So you got it in time for Christmas.
Oh mate, this is lovely.
How did you do that? Yeah, no, I know people.
He knows
You know a lot of people. There's no doubt about that.
You know
I
people that gets things done. People. Look at my man.
Look at us fitting as well.
You look splendid.
Oh, this is getting more than Christmas Day. So.
There you go, baby. All right.
Great job, man. There you go. So happy Christmas. Happy Christmas.
You bet.
Jeff, this is for you after, you can open it first and then I'll explain it. Listen, my gift is being here with you.
Actually, I'll tell you a lie. I bought him a T-shirt last week.
Yeah.
Oscar doesn't wear it, does he?
So Jeff, after his recent appearances on Sky Sports, he might need to. So if you haven't seen this on Sky Sports, Jeff took on Nasser Hussain, ex-cricket legend. Hang on, I'm getting there. And he beat Nasser Hussain at an old Arrows match. He then had to take on Paul Merson, which is a completely different prospect because Paul Merson spent a lot of his time in the club. So Jeff, you lost to Paul Merson. It was a close-run thing, but I thought you get a little dartboard. And you can have a little practice. How's that sound?
I'm going to say, the problem is if I put it on the wall, I'm going to have to pay for this room.
So there you go. Happy Christmas, gents. And the last thing that we've got to do is give away our 2 NFL Christmas jumpers.
Get them, Benny.
So,
we can be matching. Oh, this is giant. This is giant.
Hang on. I'm going to get up the list of people.
What are those? Candy canes?
Candy canes, some snowflakes, and the yellow
What kind of candy canes are you?
I got classy, mate. Bears are classy.
There you go.
Classic organisation. Right, so thanks to NFL Shop Europe who gave us these lovely jumpers. We really appreciate it and all the support that you guys have given the show. Let me find it out here.
Hey, congratulations to NFL Europe, Shop Europe. They're moving. They're going to put a shop. What did Alex say? They're going to put a shop in Germany?
I don't know.
Remember when she brought these to us at the...
Oh, yeah, they're growing. They're expanding like nobody's business. And yeah, they're part of a bigger operation, but they're looking at Germany and a couple of other places, I think, as well.
I tell you what, they do a great job. I mean, when we go on tour, they always put up a portable store, and I'm gonna tell you something. I gotta take my credit card and put it in my room when I walk downstairs, or I'll buy every piece of Lions and Raiders gear they got.
Right, so you guys are gonna watch this. We had 171 retweets, so thank you for that. I am going to open this up, and I'm going to come over here so you can kind of see it. Well, you can't really, but I'm going to do it properly. So I'm going into retweets here, and it's retweeted by. So everybody here should follow the channel. Jeff, when you say stop, I'm gonna stop scrolling. So you say stop whenever.
Good old scroll back.
Yeah, I'm scrolling.
Shake it up, shake it up, shake it up.
Go
Stop.
Wisher. But they don't follow the channel.
Oh,
so they're out.
You must be present to win.
They got to play the game, right? All right, keep going, Jeff. Keep going.
Now.
Dave Myring.
Well done, Dave.
Dave Myring. Somehow he's a PE teacher. You win the.
Where's the suit?
Congratulations, Dave.
You win the first one, and we've got the second one. All right, Ben, you're going to shout stop on here. Dave Myring takes the first. Where are we going?
Stop.
Andrew McHugh, 24, Teessider, living in Chorlton, Manchester. Hey, Manchester.
Congratulations, both of you. Send your details to us.
Yes, so I'll reach out to you guys on Twitter tonight, and I'll hopefully have them in the post. If you give me your details, I'll post them tomorrow morning, and we'll get them sent
to you.
Perfect. Well done, everybody.
Yeah, and you know what? And that was really a short notice thing from NFLShopHero.com. And as we go this and this continues to grow, there are going to be more and more things that we're going to extend out to you to kind of let you know that we appreciate the fact that you follow the channel and that you're an NFL fan. And please, talk to your buddies, when you talk to your friend, whatever. Let them know about what we're doing. Join us. Need your takes, need your input. It's awesome.
Yeah, it's about you guys. You're leading this channel. We're just trying to make it happen. So thank you to everybody that retweeted, that followed us, that put us in. Thank you to everyone that we saw in Manchester. We're going to keep growing that as well. And thank you for joining us. We hope you have a lovely Christmas. We're going to be back again next week. We don't stop here, do we?
All right. What are you going to do on Christmas Day?
On Christmas Day, I'm going to be around my hometown family. Hannah's coming with me to our family side this year, which is nice.
Cambridge.
We're going yes, we're going to Cambridge. Yes, absolutely.
Benny, what are you going to be doing?
My family in Hemel Hempstead, it's not nearly as glamorous. So that's where my dad lives, so we'll be there, and I'll be wearing my Christmas shirt.
And what are you going to do, Jeff?
NFL football.
Of course he is. That's what we've all got in common, that's for certain. So thank you for joining us. We appreciate it. Look out for the channel. Keep promoting us to your friends, as Jeff says. And we'll see you next week. Cheers.
Aloha.